Saving the Lake Chad from extinction, alternative source of water for Lake Chad. As a matter of urgency and priority, as a serious ecological and climate change matter, alternative solution to recharging the Lake Chad basin. Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari said in 2019 that Lake Chad, located in the country's northeast border, has shrunk significantly from its original size. Buhari at the time told world leaders at the United Nations Climate Action Summit that the reduction in the size of the lake was due to climate change. However, again in 2020, Buhari drew the global attention to the urgent need for recharging Lake Chad. The Lake Chad has shrunk with about 26 square kilometers from its original boundary. The president has lamented this very issue for over 9 times since inception into office, and it becomes an urgent ecological and climate matter that Spectacle wishes to beam its searchlight on it. Recall that on the 27th of March 2021, President Muhammadu Buhari again reiterated this very shrinkage of Lake Chad while he hosts President of Chad, Marshal Idris Deby, in a bilateral talk at the Aso Rock Villa, Abuja. Buhari emphatically said in a discussion with President Idris Deby, who was on a one-day official visit to Nigeria, that about 30 million people were adversely affected by a shrunken Lake Chad, which is now just about 10% of its original size. A statement issued by the special advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, quoted the president saying, "It is imperative that there be water transfer to the Lake Chad from the Congo Basin so that the people can resume their normal lives for activities such as farming, fishing, animal husbandry, and job engagement that would curtail irregular migration of youths who now dare the Sahara Desert and the Mediterranean Sea to get into Europe seeking greener pasture." It is in this light that Spectacle is searching for alternative options for recharging the Lake Chad in order to harness its enormous advantages for the country. We took a walk to meet this expert, Engineer Morgan Okwoche, an astute chemical engineer with more than 3 decades of experience in NNPC and the immediate past MD CEO of Gas Aggregation Company Nigeria Limited, responsible for domestic gas utilization in Nigeria, who has alternative sources of recharging and saving the Lake Chad. Sir, tell us more about the Lake Chad.
Lake Chad is located in the far west of Chad and the northeast of Nigeria, while parts of the lake also extend to Niger and Cameroon. Lake Chad is fed mainly by the Chari River through Lagone tributary, which used to provide 90% of its water. It was once Africa's largest water reservoir in the Sahel region, covering an area of about 26,000 square kilometers, bigger than Israel or Kuwait. The lake's water level and size has shrunk by a massive 90% compared with what it was in the 60s. While its surface area has decreased from a peak of 25,000 square kilometers to approximately 1,300 square kilometers today. The big question here is, conflict over water shared by several countries is common, but the water can also provide a platform for building relationships for the benefit of all.
So what effect will failure in recharging Lake Chad cost on Nigeria and the neighboring countries surrounding the lake?
By way of introduction, it can be seen that desert encroachment in Nigeria, particularly in the north, is real, and something urgent needs to be done to reverse the trend by way of a deliberate policy of pushing back the desert. Most of the states that are grossly affected are Yobe, Borno, Katsina, Kebbi, Bauchi, Gombe, Kano, Kaduna, Zamfara, Sokoto, and Jigawa. It is no news that Lake Chad is drying up at an alarming rate, which requires urgent action to save it from going into extinction. About 30 million people in Nigeria, Niger, Chad, and Cameroon previously depended on the lake for everything. The immediate plan of action to save the lake required, otherwise the already high level of poverty in the region would further rise. Discontent and restiveness among the inhabitants will escalate. The fragile ecosystem will be thoroughly degraded and trigger massive population displacements, causing environmental refugees. The social and security challenges in the entire region and beyond will be worsened. The vanishing Lake Chad has severe consequences on livelihood for man and animal, generally the environment, while population growth, which is prevalent through Africa. That means more people will depend on the disappearing water and forest resources. Movement of farmers and herdsmen to areas of greener pastures like Plateau, Benue, Nasarawa and other parts of the country will become inevitable for survival. The cattle herders will then compete for land resources with host communities, resulting in constant clashes, leading to avoidable deaths. And this scenario is likely to continue far into the future unless a solution is urgently found.
Sir, what is your methodology?
You can see that the distance from Latgo Dam to Lake Chad is just less than 500 kilometers. Also, the distance from Lake Nyo to Latgo Dam is also less than 500 kilometers. It is important to note these distances because when we need to compare the various sources of water to recharge Lake Chad and their distances. So here is the main idea of water transfer from Latgo Dam. The proposal aims to transfer excess flood water from Latgo Dam to Lake Chad using large diameter pipeline for pumping water to a high point 88 kilometers from Latgo Dam, after which low water flows by gravity in the pipeline for a distance of 145 kilometers, at which it discharges into the Lagone River at an elevation of 353 meters, which flows into Lake Chad at an elevation of 294 meters. So all this is just about 400 kilometers distance. So if we are able to recharge Lake Chad from Latgo Dam, we are going to save our country from the perennial flooding by the aging Latgo Dam. You will also recover Lake Chad from going into extinction. It is even to green the desert. You can push back the desert using that same water. You make the desert habitable. You provide arable land for agriculture and sundry applications. You can even establish new settlements down at it. Water is essential for all of this. The only distance we need to pump water is where the gradient is as you are climbing the hill. After that, it will slide on its own through the original route by gradient. So you don't need to pump again. The pumping is when you are climbing and it's a short distance, 88 kilometers. So this is where the concentration is much. So it's doable. If you are structuring it into segments or options, these are proposals. There can be other options too. So option 1 is to construct pipelines from Latgo Dam to Lagone River for about 234 kilometers to flow flood waters into Lake Chad through its natural course. Option 2, you construct pipeline directly from Latgo Dam to Lake Chad for a distance of about 460 without recourse to the natural route of Lagone or Chari River. Yes, that is without recourse to the original route, whether it's built up now. A comprehensive feasibility study will determine which of the options is feasible. Then if you go at the whole hog in option 3, you construct a pipeline from the volcanic Lake Nyo, also in Cameroon, through Latgo Dam to Lake Chad via either option 1 or 2 for a distance of about 474 kilometers. That is from Lake Nyos to Latgo Dam is just less than 500 kilometers. The exact distance can be established through a detailed survey. Now, Lake Nyos can complement water supply to Lake Chad should there be a shortfall of water in future from the Latgo Dam. Furthermore, Lake Nyos is a weak and aging lake with a potential threat of breakout, with severe consequences to life and property, even of worse magnitude than Latgo Dam. So these are safety nets that must be put in place. It will not warn you when it will give up. Cameroon is a water surplus country and the dams are old.
What role could the Lake Chad Basin play in all this, sir?
The commission was established by Chad, leaders of Chad, Nigeria, Cameroon, and Niger in 1964. The Central African Republic joined in 1994. Lake Chad Basin Commission member countries made plans to replenish the lake by building a dam and canals to pump water uphill from the Congo River to the Chari River and then on to Lake Chad. However, the member states of the Congo Ubangi Sangha Basin International Commission, that is the Democratic Republic of Congo, the Congo Republic, and Central African Republic, expressed the following concern and sentiments: that the project would reduce the energy potential of the Inga hydroelectric dam. After navigation on the Ubangi and Congo rivers, it will affect navigation and then it will reduce their fish stock. Those fears are in their minds. So in addition to the obstacles I've just pointed out, the complexity of transborder issues, the magnitude of the project, funding mechanism, operation and maintenance, security, distance, and the negative sentiments above have affected the entire plan of the Congo River to Lake Chad project, the concept. You are looking at almost 2,000 kilometers and passing through several countries. Most of them are French speaking. We have different cultures, and the attachment to the project will not be the same as Nigeria. No wonder, since the concept of transferring water from the Congo River to Lake Chad has not been receiving appropriate attention. Those issues cannot be wished away. Ubangi River, that's another one. If you are going, some steps were taken to save the lake in 1994 when the interbasin water transfer from Ubangi River through Central African Republic to Lake Chad was identified as a viable option. The transborder issues associated with the project will include the following countries: the two Congos, Central African Republic, Chad, Cameroon, and finally Nigeria. Running along the borders of 5 countries with different cultures, ethnic loyalties, regional and national priorities, the administrative and legal bottleneck to deal with may not save the lake afro. When you see a distance like this, the survey, when you do a comprehensive survey to reveal the exact distance whereby heavily built up area will be avoided, there will be a detour. This one is just straight. It is not at all a reflection of the actual distance that when you are constructing, this is what you are going to do. A survey, a detailed survey will show you this is sacred site, this is heavily built up area, so your pipeline can, those issues will come up. So this is just tentative.
And how can you compare the man-made river of Libya to this project?
You see, in Libya, there was a desert project similar to what we are trying to do now, whereby fresh water underground was rather harvested than desalination, than treating the seawater, Mediterranean water. This is a massive project to irrigate Libya and supply fresh water to a population of about 6 million people. That project involved a 4,000 kilometer network of pipelines covering an area equal to West Europe. 4-meter diameter line concrete pipes buried below the desert sands to prevent evaporation. 1,300 wells drilled to reach groundwater. Thousands of miles of roads between and connecting the project's various lines and infrastructure. It's a very massive project similar to this our own, but somebody did it. Libya did it. Instead of treating Mediterranean Sea by removing the salt, desalination, it was cheaper to dig boreholes lay pipelines and pump fresh water to the cities. It's just an example of what we are talking of doing. Somebody has done the similar thing.
Tell us more about the Lago Dam and why we have to connect from there, its effect on Nigeria as well.
Lago Dam was built between 1977 and 1982. That's above 30 years now. The dam is 308 meters long, 40 meters in height and 9 meters thick, and covers an area of 586 square kilometers of flat surface and holds about 7.7 cubic kilometers of water at full capacity. It is important to note the perennial flooding of Nigerian communities by water releases from the aging lake dam is a threat that must be removed. Of particular interest is the 2012 flooding. The 2012 flooding from the Lago Dam was the worst in 40 years. 30 of the 36 states and an estimated 17 million people were affected. The flood killed about 360 people and displaced over 2 million people. The damages and losses caused by the floods were worth 2.6 trillion. The Nigerian president then, Goodluck Jonathan, called the flood a national disaster and released 17.6 billion to various states and agencies for damage response, flood relief, and rehabilitation.
In this case, could you elaborate the impact of the Inga Dam on interwater transfer?
The proposed Grand Inga Dam is the world's largest proposed hydropower scheme, a grand vision to develop a continent-wide power system designed to generate about 40,000 megawatts. The Grand Inga mega project is a priority project for a number of African development organizations listed below, Nepal and the rest. The Inga dams are located in Western Democratic Republic of Congo, 50 kilometers upstream on the mouth of the Congo River, and 225 or 140 miles southwest of Kinshasa on the Congo River. This is how they want to electrify Africa, by power to be generated from the Inga Dam. One reason why there is reluctance in releasing the water to recharge Lake Chad. This is a priority project and they are concerned about what the volume of water taken to recharge Lake Chad will have on their proposed hydroelectric dams.
What role could the Lake Chad Basin play in all this, sir?
At the early stage of presentation, we mentioned the northern states that have severe effect of desertification. So those same states will have positive impact of a livelihood if the Lake Chad is recharged and bubbling again. There will be a positive impact also on communities living in the vicinity of the lake in the other three countries of Niger, Chad, and Cameroon. Then, to our delight, the perennial flooding in Nigeria due to release of water from Lago Dam will cease. We will be able to green the desert, and that will help our environment and provide land for agriculture, which will provide food and employment. I am saying in states like Yobe, Borno, Katsina, Kebbi, Bauchi, Gombe, Kano, Kaduna, Zamfara, Sokoto, and Jigawa, these states will benefit immensely if Lake Chad is recharged and bubbling again. Commercial and agricultural activities will commence in full swing. The same thing with communities around the neighboring countries of Chad, Niger, and Cameroon. The same benefit will affect them too, and livelihood will commence, and this severe conflict between herder and farmer will reduce. Idle hands that are easily recruited for terrorism, banditry, and insurgency will be diminished as they will be gainfully employed. Fishing and all other commercial activities supported by Lake Chad will be revived and rejuvenated. New cities can spring up and reshape urbanization content generally. We can build small lines to divert water to cities and settlements along the water pipeline route. Existing and new cities will provide new opportunities. Employment of our teeming unemployed youth will be generally enhanced. So in conclusion, therefore, the danger to life and property in Nigeria by both Ladgo Dam and Lake Nyos, both in Cameroon, is real but containable. The proposal is one major step at containing the devastating effect of the aging Ladgo Dam and Lake Nyos, an opportunity to save Lake Chad. The economic benefit and multiplier effect of the Lake Chad requires concrete action to save it from extinction. The proposal to transfer flood water from Ladgo Dam and Lake Nyos to Lake Chad is necessary and technically viable, and therefore recommended for consideration of government and immediate implementation.
Thanks for watching. Do well to follow us on our social media platforms. Television Nigerian is the station. Spectacle is the program. Your socio-political and economic programs. See you next time.